The first Gen Z Olympics is officially over. I don't follow sports too closely, but even from the outsider perspective, this Olympics felt a little different. Of course, every Olympian is incredibly talented and strong, and just being qualified to be there is and should be an accomplishment in and of itself. But what surprised me more than I thought it would is the change in the general mood. I saw so much joy and positivity being featured. There's this fluid and unapologetic self-expression and creativity and these just pure wholesome moments of sportsmanship that were seen across the borders. And even just for a moment, watching the Olympics made me forget what reality feels like sometimes at home.
It's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about.
Let's talk about the epidemic of unhappiness and loneliness, because this is what disproportionately affects Gen Z. There's a survey of 200,000 plus people from 22 countries that shows that young adults ages 18 to 29 are not as happy as they used to be or as expected. And this puzzles researchers because what previous studies have shown is that happiness and age has this U-shaped relationship. Usually, happiness peaks at a young age. It hits a rock bottom in midlife, like midlife crisis, before it rises again later in life as you get older. But now it looks like that U-shaped curve is getting flatter. Gen Zs are no longer starting at a peak. Loneliness is common across the entire country. In a 2024 American Psychiatric Association poll, 30% of US adults felt lonely at least once a week over the past year, and 10% felt lonely every day. The US Surgeon General called it the epidemic of loneliness and isolation back in 2023, and here we are. It's still there. It's still here, well alive. Today, living alone has become much more common. According to the 22 census data, about 38 million Americans live in a single-person households, and that's about a third of all US households. Gen Z is also delaying their major life milestones.
They not only get their driver's license later, they're later to have their first sexual relationship, and they're later to enter marriage and parenthood.
And I love this psychologist's response to why that might be.
Well, there are a lot of reasons. A lot of it is that they don't really have to. I mean,
obviously, this doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong, but we've known for a long time that humans are social animals. One study showed that not having any social contact for just 10 hours causes the same cravings in our brain as hunger. This research was actually done before the pandemic, and so you can imagine how much more impact, negative potential impact it might have on the brain and mental health during the COVID time when everyone's locked down. The longer you are isolated, the more and stronger rebound toward socializing. Your brain is trying to just get back to its equilibrium state as quickly as possible. It's essentially keeping a status quo for social contact. For most of human history, social connection has had clear benefits. Group living improved survival chances through protection from predators and sharing resources. It also increases chances of success in parenting because it takes a village to raise a child. But things are very different in modern life. You can study, work, entertain yourself, and even socialize to an extent, just in the comfort of your own home.
What are you, class 3 sexual predator?
Tier 1.
Was tier 1's the highest and worst?
No, I'm
the lowest?
I'm the lowest.
You're the lowest.
Doesn't seem like a compelling enough reason to get married or start a family. Some of us are just trying to get through college without the crippling debt that is going to follow us around for the next 20 years. But social isolation is and should be a priority in public health. Social isolation increases mortality risk from both cardiovascular disease and cancer. And it's thought to be as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Well, it seems like Gen Zs aren't drinking as much and they are saying no to drugs. So why is it that they're at a higher risk for mental health challenges? I mean, seriously, more Gen Zs are taking their own lives than millennials did 10 years ago. The problem of social isolation has gotten worse in the advent of AI. OpenAI and MIT researchers are already seeing some signs of emotional dependence on AI chatbots by some heaviest users. The longer you use an AI chatbot, the less you socialize with actual people, and the more lonely you feel. So we are replacing human interactions with robots and are almost getting a false sense of being socially full, even though there is no substance.
Our relationships with others in adolescence are actually some of the strongest predictors we have, not just for happiness and satisfaction, but for our salaries, our health, even our mortality, is based on the quality of our adolescent social relationships 40 years earlier. Well, now we're swapping out human relationships for relationships with a robot. And the bot is programmed to trick people into thinking that they feel, that they care, that they have a relationship with them. For every moment that a child is interacting with a bot, they're not only getting inappropriate interaction because it is obsequious and it is deceptive, but they're lacking the opportunity to go have those adolescent experiences they need to thrive because they might have been interacting with humans during that time otherwise. This is a crisis. This is a crisis for our species.
Gen Z is the most technologically savvy generation of all. The vast majority of them own a laptop and a smartphone, and they spend a lot of time online, and it's their main way to stay connected with their friends. In 2025, Americans spend on average 5 hours and 16 minutes a day on their phones. And this is about 14% increase since the year before. And Gen Z is leading the figure at 6 hours and 27 minutes per day on their phone. They know it's a lot, they know, because 66% of them say that they want to cut back on how much time they're spending on their phones. And 72% said that their mental health would actually improve if the apps were less addictive. Well, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified in court earlier this month regarding the claims that Facebook researchers knew about the addictive nature of some of the features at Facebook.
Combative at times on the stand, dismissing the idea, saying, "That's not how we run the company now."
I'm personally torn on this because on one hand, companies do and should have a more responsibility on the products they create and sell, that they're safe and for the users who are using it. But on the other hand, these are for-profit companies, and it makes sense that they're trying to maximize their profits. So it ultimately comes down to this argument about who should be responsible and accountable for the use of phones and social media, or the limiting the time spent on social media, rather. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Gen Zs are some of the most self-aware people that I've met, and they know that making a lot of money isn't their life purpose. I mean, what good is it when after all that's done, you're not fulfilled and you don't feel happy with your life? What is the point of making all the money, right? And we know from research that Gen Z's happiness is strongly tied to their sense of purpose and meaning in both school and work. Yet more than half of the young adults say that they're lacking meaning and purpose. If you're struggling to create and lead a purposeful life, I have a gift for you. I'm offering a couple of free printable tools to get started on goal setting and productivity. I also invite you to check out the 12-week Goals Unhindered planner designed by neuroscientists based on neuroscientific insights to help you achieve this holistic success. Life's purpose can't be just about the career goals and career success. It has to incorporate other areas of life like personal development, finances, relationships, health, leisure, all of these other things. So we have to track goals that actually matter to us in a way that lead us to a really, truly fulfilling life. So I hope that helps. I'll leave a link in the description below. I hope to see you next time. That there was so much joy and positivity being featured at this Olympics. And there was just so much joy and unapologetic self-expression and creativity and these wholesome moments of sportsmanship that were seen across the borders. And according to this 2024 American Psychiatric Association poll, 30% of US adults have felt lonely at least once a week for the past year. And 10% said that they were always hungry. They felt lonely every day.